right now. Get that started. And students, also I wanted to let you know, I have spotlighted each of the panelists. So if you want to go to speaker mode, you'll be able to see the panelists, and it won't be just a jumble of boxes. It will actually be a nice view of the three panelists who have joined us today. So I think we will go ahead and get started. So I want this to be a time that students can ask questions, certainly. So I will be stopping every once in a while, making sure that you have a chance for students to put some things in the chat, to ask their questions based on the information that they're learning about our panelists. But I do have some questions to kick things off and just to let the students know a little bit about you so that they can start to formulate those great questions. So panelists, just to give you some background, I'm not sure if this was happening when you were on campus, but we really encourage students to do what we call the Miami Hello whenever possible. And we try to teach this early on, and it's kind of this way to introduce yourself, whether it's to employers at a networking event, or it's faculty, or just new students. So we practice this, and it starts out kind of basic, and then hopefully over the years it grows into this really nice elevator pitch, right? And they're used to saying it. So I'm going to ask you to start off with a little bit of your Miami Hello. So if you could just start with, your name, your hometown, your major, maybe where you're working now, your current employer, and your position, just to give us kind of a reference as to who is in our Zoom room. I would appreciate that. And let's start with, I'm going to go with Rachel. You were first in, so I'm going to have you first up if you don't mind.
Sounds good. Hi, everyone. My name is Rachel Barr. I am a 2012 Miami grad. I'm originally from Cincinnati, and I was a diplomacy and global politics major. I'm currently a staff attorney and an Ohio Access to Justice Foundation Justice for All Fellow at the Legal Aid Society of Greater Cincinnati.
Thank you. All right, Kristin, I think you were next.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kristin Goins, Cincinnati native. I graduated in 2010 from Miami. I was a political science and a business legal studies minor when I attended, and currently I am a senior talent acquisition partner at the Scripps Company in Cincinnati.
Wonderful. And students, we will be asking more specifics of what all that means, right? So we'll get to that. Just a brief introduction. All right, Anna.
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name's Anna Chippa. I was born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio, but now I am in Dallas, Texas. I graduated from Miami in May of 2018. I had a double major in strategic communications and professional writing, and then a double minor in general business and management and leadership. I currently work at Ernst & Young. I did human resources consulting, but I recently switched to a new position, being an internal staffing consultant / corporate recruiter, career coach, kind of everything in that mix. And then I'm also on the side opening up my own business. So I'm doing life, career, and health coaching. So if you or anyone else you know needs some coaching in that, please feel free to let me know. Happy to connect with you or whoever that person is and get started on that. So great to meet you all, and excited for this hour session that we got with you.
Great, that sounds wonderful. Well, we got a lot to work with here. So I'm going to invite students, as you think of questions, put them in the chat. I'll weave them in, but I'd like to kind of now delve a little bit more into the academics for each of you. We're talking with students who are exploring academic areas, career paths, how to navigate Miami. So let's start with academics. And if you could tell us a little bit about how you came to decide on that academic path of yours, what kind of led up to that, and what helped you make that decision. We'll start there, and we'll keep the same order that we had, if that's easiest.
So like many undergrads, I jumped around a little bit. I actually started as a graphic design major. I had applied to the fine arts school at Miami. I was going to do graphic design and diplomacy as a double major, and then I realized that was a lot to bite off as a first-year student. But I'd had a lot of international experiences as a kid, thanks to Miami. My mom was as a faculty member at Miami and taught study abroad programs. So I decided to follow the international path and see where that led me. So that's sort of how I ended up as a diplomacy major.
Interesting. Okay, Kristin?
So I originally thought I wanted to go to school for engineering. I had an apprenticeship at Procter & Gamble where I was always into math and science and how things operate and work. And so it was an apprenticeship that happened right before I stepped foot on campus as a freshman. And so that summer leading up to my freshman year, I worked at one of the plants in Cincinnati where I was really, in a lab all day with paper products, Bounty in particular, testing the absorbency of it and like against other competitors. And while I really loved the lab environment, I was really fascinated by just like the organizational structure. So I didn't declare my major until the second semester of my freshman year, because I thought about, while I do like how things are made, I'm a little bit more fascinated by like the actual like human structure of them. And so one of my career advisors had suggested maybe going down the human resources route. And so I was always also interested in politics because, again, the structure of how like governments are all formulated. And so I've always been kind of like a political rat anyways. And so I majored in it because it was something that I liked. And then a lot of political science majors who maybe tack on like a business minor, which is what I did, go into the operational function of an organization. And so human resources was something that caught my eye. Again, it was an internship that really didn't made that path make sense for me, specifically in the realm of like recruitment, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and the restructuring and reorganizations of employees and employee relations. So that's kind of how I got into the route, and I've been in it. Really have had nothing but HR internships and have stayed in HR since I've graduated. So.
Interesting. So one of those majors that I think a lot of students think, if I go political science, I got to go into politics. And right. So it's interesting to kind of see the different paths. So, okay, Anna.
Yeah, so for me, I knew in high school I was very interested in writing and public speaking. So when I first applied to Miami and really was looking at the different programs and offerings, the strategic communication major really spoke out to me because you could double major or double minor. So originally I went to the double minor route and I had rhetoric, writing, and general business in there. And I really like that a lot. I think with the liberal arts education that Miami provides, you do get a little bit of everything, which I loved. That was one of my favorite things about being at Miami from an academic standpoint. But through my experience at Miami, as well as some internships I had, I was like, I really, really like human resources. I did a business course. I can't remember what the name of it. I think it was Miami Prime. It's basically a 3.5-week business course for non-business majors. And I did that going into my sophomore year of college over the summer. And that's when I realized, like, man, I really like human resources. How can I pull this into my major minor mix? So I worked very closely with an FSB advisor, and which for me, that's outside of my academic advising person. So I think Miami did a really good job of, and I guess him in particular did a really good job of helping me navigate this path to see, okay, what majors should I go into? Why should I go into them? And ultimately we came to the decision of doing the double major in strategic communication and professional writing, and then having that double minor in general business and management and leadership. And just through a couple of like winter courses and things like that, I was able to graduate on time, which is like huge. Oh my gosh, like I don't want to be spending too many years at a school, but not spending too few also. I just wanted to hit that four-year mark. So again, it was great to be able to, again, have that exposure in all of these different areas. And I think that's, the beauty in liberal arts education. And like I said, I did College of Arts and Sciences. I did Farmer School of Business. not only in my academics, but in some of my extracurriculars as well. So.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, graduating on time with all those academic areas.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, and it's kind of funny. I actually was able to maintain maybe 15, 16 credit hours. So again, it was mainly through that Miami Prime course. I think that's the name of it. It might have changed over the years, but I would highly recommend that if you are a non-business major interested in business. It knocks out like 9 credit hours in a matter of 3 weeks or so. So highly would recommend that. And then I also had some AP credits and winter courses that factored in as well. So I was very thankful. I can't believe I was able to do it. The academic advisor and I sat for like three or so hours just figuring out my life for the next few years at Miami. So
Interesting. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, the Prime program is still around, and so
Yeah.
I'll put that in the chat for students as a reference as we keep moving through the information. But thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, absolutely.
So interesting with the academics, and you kind of all alluded to little things along the way that kind of led to the career path. But can you tell us a little bit about the career path and what you've done and what you're doing, and tell, because we, sometimes we come with very little occupational information, other than maybe teachers that we've seen in school. So when you say human resources or things like that, it might not let us know. So we'll start back with Rachel. Can you kind of clear up some of that career information for us?
Sure. So if you had asked me at the beginning of my time at Miami if I would ever be a lawyer, I would have told you absolutely not, no way. I wanted to work at the UN or do something really sort of international policy focused. I got really lucky that the diplomacy and global politics major required me to study abroad. And at the time, there was a program through Kent State where you would go to Geneva, you would take classes in human rights, international organizations, international economics, and you would have an internship. And I had an internship with a place called the Interparliamentary Union, which is one of the oldest international organizations. And I got to work on gender issues. And it really opened up this world of civil and human rights to me that I'd never really been exposed to through any of my classes, either in high school or on campus at Miami. And that led to an internship in DC the summer after I graduated from Miami that focused on civil and human rights. And I ended up I actually graduated from Miami in 3 years, and I spent what would have been my 4th year in college getting a master's degree in human rights, focused on gender studies and women's issues at the London School of Economics and Political Science. And following that, I moved to DC. I figured that was sort of the center of civil and human rights in the United States if I wanted to do something kind of international, but kind of domestic. And I ended up working as a consultant, first at one nonprofit and then at a consulting firm that consulted to bigger nonprofits and foundations like the Ford Foundation. And I really liked what I was doing. I liked the types of issues that I was working on, children's rights, access to technology, voting rights. But I felt like as a consultant, I wasn't making as much of an impact as I wanted to. I felt very far removed from the issues that I was working on. And a couple of my colleagues and mentors really encouraged me to go to law school. And so I went to I took the LSAT, went to law school at the University of Michigan with the thought of this is a checkbox thing. Everybody in DC is a lawyer. So if I want to do international policy work where I'm really helping people, I need to get the checkbox that I'm a lawyer too. But I went to law school and I tried a whole bunch of different things, including a legal services clinic where I worked directly with clients on legal issues like housing and access to public benefits and making sure their kids got services in school. And I really fell in love with that type of work where instead of doing policy work, I was working directly with people to help solve their legal problems that they were facing. So when I graduated from law school, I worked for a judge, which is pretty typical depending on where you go to school, and now work at Legal Aid, which is a legal services organization, basically a law firm for low-income people. If you think about there being public defenders in the criminal system, where if you're charged with a crime, you get a lawyer to help you for free. Legal aid is sort of the same type of structure, but for people who are involved in civil matters. So I work particularly on education and public benefits work for kids with behavioral and mental health issues. So I spend most of my day helping kids get individualized education plans, making sure they have Medicaid and access to their health services. So it was sort of a very windy road, but definitely started with this human rights curriculum that I was introduced to through studying abroad at Miami, that now in my day job, I spend my day helping make sure those human rights to an education and to food and healthcare are very concretely protected for kids in Cincinnati.
That's really interesting. The whole path, like you said, and kind of the way you were helping, wanting to be more direct, and now being able to really help directly. I think that's interesting. And you know, we had another lawyer on earlier, and that's such a big, broad area. So it's interesting to kind of hear the other parts, because I think we focus on courtroom law, and that's kind of our knowledge base. So that's good. Thank you, Rachel. Kristin.
Sure. So I'm a senior talent acquisition partner for Scripps. So what that means, it's a sector of HR, human resources. So you have your employee relations, you have benefits, compensation. If you're really tech savvy and fascinated by technology data, there's in-house systems, software systems work. There's HRIS, or human resources information systems. And then there's the traditional like employee relations, associate relations. And so I decided to go after having a hand at the employee relations piece, which is sometimes heavy, but very, fascinating and a really interesting and fun environment to work in. So you're mainly dealing with any sort of like issues that come up with work, whether it's, performance plans or career pathing, assessment work, any sort of like employee managerial conflict or employee to peer conflict. I decided to go the recruitment route in terms of helping bring talent into an organization, and then also helping with the facilitation of talent internally too. And so I started off like traditionally as one does in this realm as a recruiter, doing a lot of like the external recruitment, and then also supporting a couple business units with any sort of like employee changing or promotions, lateral moves with our internal employees. And then as I've, professionally matured and got a little bit more experience and exposure, I then managed the university and relations piece of recruitment, where I was the liaison between my company and universities and colleges that we partnered with to recruit directly. So one great, opportunity that I've had over the years is that I've been able to work with Miami, not only as a student, but also as an alum, and helping recruit Miami students into organizations that I've represented, speaking to classrooms and classes like I'm doing today, but then also attending career fairs. Again, this was before COVID, career fairs and any sort of career specific event. And then also helping with some of our diversity initiatives, diversity, equity, and inclusion. So much of that is an internal focus of any organization, wanting to make sure that the organization is enriched with the different groups of people, schools of thought, lived experiences, but also making sure that not only is that cultivated internally, but also that we're finding a diverse group of people in the workforce that we can then attract and recruit to the organization. And helping partner with the partnerships with obviously universities and colleges, but also community-based organizations such as chamber organizations, even high schools, to provide co-op or early internship opportunities to high school students to expose them to different industries within other organizations. I also do a lot of manage the assessment work of any sort of testing, whether it's like personality-based assessments or work behavioral assessments, and helping employees find career opportunities within an organization that align with their skill, their strengths and their skills and their interests as well. My day-to-day really is partnering with specifically different news stations across the United States and helping them fill some of their roles within their news station. Scripps is a diversified media company. It's one of the largest in the world or in the country. We have popular brands like Newsy and Core TV and Core TV Mystery. We also are the longtime steward of the Scripps Spelling Bee that airs every year nationally on ESPN. And so I partner with different news stations, particularly to help fill their roles within their organization or within their business unit, helping both bringing on external talent, but then also helping with any sort of internal movement that's going on. Also assisting with diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives to bring diverse candidates into our talent pool, but then also helping with lead any sort of conversations and initiatives that are inclusive based. Outside of work, which I think is probably where my major political science really does kind of tie in, is I sit on the City of Cincinnati's Human Services Advisory Committee Board, which is completely volunteer based, but you do have to apply and then have to be appointed by the mayor. And so I help with some of the decisions regarding housing development, any sort of expansion projects as it relates to marginalized or low income communities within the 52 communities of Cincinnati. And then any sort of projects that they relate to people who are experiencing homelessness and helping nonprofit agencies getting funding so that they can expand their mission too. So that takes about anywhere from 4 to 8 hours a month, but it's something that I've been super passionate about. It allows me to use like kind of my organizational structure piece from work and bring it to more so like a volunteer basis that's community focused and based. And so that's how I've been able to really utilize not only my liberal arts education at Miami, but also the competencies and the learnings that I found in my major while I was there.
Great, thank you, Kristin. That's interesting. I think it's important to see kind of how you can take those interests outside of the career and still have those in your life too. So. Absolutely. And luckily, you know, it's been something that I thought I wanted. I knew that I didn't want to exactly go into politics as a political science major, but you know, it was something that I was always fascinated by. So it really just kind of like scratched that itch for me too. So great. Okay, thank you. All right, Anna.
Yeah. So for me, like I said, I have a few different roles, right? So I did human resources consulting. I do this internal staffing consulting / recruiting, and then also doing life, career, and health coaching. So for me, human resources consulting, it's very similar to what Kristin was saying. Basically, what we do as consultants, though, is we go in and help HR departments across different companies. So an HR company, or excuse me, an HR department, very much like Kristin's, maybe Scripps would come up to EY and say, hey, we need help in XYZ. That could be anything from org design. It could be from training and development. It could be systems implementations, like literally anything under the sun that is related to human resources. That's where they come to us and say, hey, we need a third party to work on this. So industry is very much so like getting in the weeds, like Kristin was saying, in terms of going to different, recruiting events and, all this different kind of stuff for HR. But where a consultant comes in is they do very much the high level. So they look at what kind of strategies are in place? What are the visions for your company? How are we doing this from a people, process, and technology standpoint? So for me, when I was at Miami, I originally was thinking about going into human resources, but then I learned about consulting. And for me, I've loved, like during my extracurricular activities at Miami, I always liked serving as that teacher in business. I I served as the professional development chair for Phi Chi Theta business fraternity. I don't know if any of you are in the room, but that gave me the structure and idea of I want to be a teacher in business. And I thought that that would be best practice in human resources consulting. So kind of going to the next phase of that is now I'm in this internal staffing and recruiting role. And basically my reason for that was, although I liked being able to work with different organizations, I worked with a ton of different clients on a ton of different projects where you got your feet wet in a lot of different waters, which is great. I also wanted to kind of not tone it down, but I would say go down a level and focus on the individual themselves from a career perspective. So what I do is I help people now based on business supply and demand. I help EY employees get staffed onto those projects, those client projects where we serve and deliver. So my first job at EY, I was the person delivering those projects. But now in my second job, I'm helping people getting staffed onto those kind of projects. So it's not only that, but then it's also some career coaching along the way, which is, asking people what their personal and professional interests and goals are. How does that align to the services that we provide? How can we best serve them? So it really is a balance between the two of not only business supply and demand, but then also employee preference and what they want in their career. And then third is my whole life, health, and career coaching. So I've been doing this role in staffing for a while, or well, not a while, but maybe for like a couple months or so. But basically, I've been thinking about coaching for a while. And the reason why I've been thinking about coaching is my whole experience in consulting of helping organizations. Now it's this whole thing where I'm helping individuals, but to be able to do that in my own business in a ton of different areas outside of just, business specific project is something that appealed to me. While I was at Miami, I was actually a career assistant at the Career Services Center, which I did a lot of resume reviews, LinkedIn reviews, all that kind of stuff. So definitely hit them up if you need any help with LinkedIn resumes, just getting help on that. They're a great resource to use and they're free, which is awesome. So, kind of a culmination of all those things for me, thinking about what I wanted to do in my life and in my career, I do want to go down that coaching path where I can work, not only one-on-one with people, but then also in group settings to help them mind, body, spirit, and touching in other things outside of just business. So really tapping into what is it that their heart wants? How can they heal through that? Again, mind, body, spirit, wellness, and connection. So for me, that's something that I've been, taking into consideration, especially with everything that I learned from Miami, my theme of doing a little bit of everything. That's kind of my personality. It's kind of my thing. So between, doing that at Miami with my majors and minors and the extracurriculars I was involved in, to my consulting career where I did a little bit of everything in terms of projects. Now I'm transferring it to coaching where I'm doing a little bit of everything of different situations, different people, things like that to help them out. So yeah, I think that's it. I think I covered everything in my spiel.
Great. Thanks.
I was like, have I forgotten anything? I don't know. But no, it's been great to be able to do the coaching. And, now I should mention too, now from like a volunteer basis, since I have been doing the coaching, I have given a lot of thought about what I'm spending my time doing in my extracurriculars. So I'm very involved in my church community, doing like young adults and young adult stuff, Bible studies, helping with the high school youth ministry, and then also working with our church's career ministry. So that's been a great plug-in to work on becoming a career coach, and then also through that, being able to get clients for life and health coaching. So.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Really, really good look into everything that they've been doing, very specifics about their careers. I think that's very helpful for students to kind of start to visualize what all of that means.
Mhm.
And we're back on campus. We're getting engaged. Things are feeling a little bit more normal, and so we're encouraging really first and second year students to start getting involved, because that has been something that really has not been available. Some of you have alluded to this, and with our time kind of getting down, I've got a couple more questions, so our time is getting down to about 20 minutes left. But if you could, for this section, highlight some of those things outside of class that really helped you like connect, or really helped you develop a skill that you think has been very helpful in your career path. So we'll go back to Rachel to.
So I was involved in quite a number of things at Miami, probably more than I should have been given my workload. But I think the thing that was most useful for me was, it was called the Government Relations Network at the time. I think it still exists, perhaps under a different name. It's run by Randy Thomas, who is sort of like the chief lobbyist for the university. And he taught us how to be advocates for ourselves, but also advocates for Miami, and then would take us to Columbus. And for spring break, we actually went to DC, and we would meet with legislators and members of Congress and alums who were in DC and talk about Miami and our Miami experience, but also learn from Miami alums about their career path. And so through that, I learned how to how to network, which I think is really important, especially when I was living in DC, because that's how the entire city seems to run. But also how to advocate for myself and for other people by learning how to advocate for Miami. A lot of what lawyers do is advocating, even if I'm not standing in a courtroom. If I'm in a meeting with a school trying to make sure one of my students gets the services he or she needs, that's advocacy. It looks different than what you think of a normal lawyer doing or a trial lawyer doing, but it's also legal advocacy. So I think the Government Relations Network was definitely a big one for me. I was also involved in a sorority where I was able to gain leadership skills, and I was on the club skating team. So I think it was a good balance of helpful extracurriculars, but also fun, stress relieving extracurriculars, which I think if you're looking for things to do at school, it's important to have that balance, because you need that stress relief and the fun piece too.
Yeah, good point. I like that good balance. And it doesn't always have to be heavy, intense career stuff. It can be fun, interesting, stress relieving things. So, Kristin?
Sure. So I try to, continue with that well-rounded, comprehensive collegiate experience. I was really involved in high school, and I definitely wanted to still keep that and maintain that level of balance while entering into school. And so my freshman year, I was on I participated on the club soccer team, but I didn't realize how intense it was going to be. So I slowly bowed away from that. But then I was a part of Black Student Action Association, or BS2A, which is a great network for Black students to connect. We talk about like our classes, our coursework, suggested, opportunities. The upperclassmen were always great about offering and lending their own advice to younger classmates and students in terms of, how to best network and really align yourself in a school that's not predominantly, that's not exactly as diverse as a historically Black college or university. But I think that one of the biggest takeaways with that was the level of community that we had there as a large institution. And I'm super grateful for the experience of having that network while at Miami as a student of color. I was also a part of, at the time, I think someone confirmed it for me yesterday, that Love You Like a Sister, which LYLAS, which was an organization for Black women students, self-identifying women students, where we just had a place to come and connect emotionally, spiritually, also vent about our coursework and, midterms and finals. And I think that was a great opportunity for, again, that sisterhood and that community as well. I was also involved in Cincinnati, the NAACP chapter that was here that did require me to leave campus a couple of times throughout the month, depending upon the time of year, just with activities, which was again anchored and centered around community. I think Miami, one thing that Miami does really stress to students across the board is, you know, as you lift as you climb. And so really bringing up and propping up others around you for opportunities. I think the networking piece that a Miami alum provide to students that are coming out of college is an incredible like feature of the university. I don't see it really as being in Cincinnati. There's obviously other alumni networks, but I think Miami's is one of the strongest here in the region. And it's not just here; it expands to, you know, Dallas and Chicago and DC and Atlanta and California as well. So, but those are at top of mind. I, you know, believe like the service piece, and then I was not a Greek affiliate on campus, but I am now. But I found community definitely at Miami as a student, a Black student, and helping navigate through the waters of being a college student, which can obviously be really, really challenging.
Great, thank you. All right, Anna.
Yeah, so like I mentioned before, being a part of the business fraternity was a huge development in both professionally and personally. So for me, it's basically having the social activity of a Greek organization while having the professional edge to it. Whether you're a business major or a non-business major. So for me, that allowed me to really beef up how I presented myself. So very similar to like the Miami Hello that you guys all have, being able to just kind of build that from a start, you know, get help on resumes, LinkedIn's, networks, like anything under the sun in terms of business and professional development. That was really the foundation to my experience and just kind of that skill set. Another thing as well, this isn't a campus activity, but I was also a soccer coach for Brave Soccer Academy. It was a newly developed club right in the Oxford area. So for me, that taught me a lot of patience. And it really taught me and it really opened my eyes to the Oxford community in general, you know, outside of Miami, because I think sometimes Miami, we are in a little bubble, a little college town. So it did give me some appreciation toward that and just the skill of, you know, not only patience, but how to interact with different audiences. So I know not only had to, you know, train little tykes like these little 8-year-old, 9-year-old girls, but then I also had to learn how to communicate clearly to the parents of, you know, what games are coming up next, what are practice schedules and everything like that. And then also other coaches from other teams and then referees as well. So for me, that was a big piece that I learned through my experience with that. And then also, I know I mentioned the career assistant, which was great, but another thing I want to focus on as well is being a teacher's assistant. So I actually helped with the human capital management consulting class. I think it was Management 474, if that's still a thing for any HCM majors out there who want to be one. That gave me exposure from a teacher's perspective of how to provide coaching and advising and counseling to different groups. So basically what these different groups did, it was part of their senior capstone, was work with actual clients and provide them HR solutions. So through that, it helped me realize like, man, I really, really want to get into consulting because this is super cool. So I think being in that teacher's assistant perspective, though, it's a matter of thinking outside of the box and learning different points of views and perspectives and how to give constructive feedback, which can carry a lot in the professional world, especially when you're dealing with a lot of different people and whatnot. So I would say those big things were, just kind of things that I did at Miami and kept me well-rounded, taught me a lot of lessons. What I will say as a piece of advice, this is something that I received, I think it was my freshman year or going into my freshman year. One of my friends told me that she during her time at Miami, during her time at Miami, she had 3 different activities that she was a part of. One that helps you grow in your career, one that's fun, and then another one of your choosing. So just to kind of keep that balance in mind, is something that was super helpful for me when I was thinking about, okay, what do I want to get involved in and why? So is this helping me in my career? Is this helping me network with people? Is this helping my health? Am I exercising? So that for me was really helpful when thinking about what I wanted to get involved in and why.
Yes, that's great advice. And I think that's important because, the organizations can be overwhelming as to what to get involved in. And so sometimes you need to focus in on what are some things you'd like to explore or learn about, but kind of keeping that balance is really important. I was really somebody done the broom ball. I always like to hear about that broom ball. That's such a unique Miami thing, right? To go off and talk about that in an interview is kind of a unique and memorable moment. But there is so much to get involved in. What I like that I've been hearing too is that, students, there's a leap of faith here, as you get involved in things like this. And we try to explain that through this path, they're going to learn things that are going to kind of help them navigate and develop what they see after Miami. But, we all want it now, right? And all 3 of you have kind of shown that through various activities all through your Miami career, those all kind of helped you navigate and put that in place. So there's a like Anna said, a little patience involved in some of this to really put yourself out there, experience things, and then hopefully that kind of helps fill in some of the pieces as well. We are down to the last 10 minutes. This always goes way too fast, but great information from all of you. So I'm going to just ask, I have not seen any questions, students, but if you have last minute questions, please start putting them in the chat. I'm going to ask maybe that you, the panelists, give us, what I wish I would have known, or I think Anna already gave like one tip or something that you feel would be that one piece of information or advice that you would like to leave our first year students with as they embark on this new Miami experience.
I think for me, my biggest piece of advice is to get to know your professors. I know it's really intimidating, and I was intimidated by going into my professor's office hours and just talking to them. Even if I didn't have like a question, you can just go and talk to them. That's totally okay. But I ended up at the London School of Economics because my diplomacy and global politics advisor had done his PhD there. And I started talking to him about what I thought I wanted to do. And he was like, you have to go to school here. And he wrote my letter of recommendation. I'm pretty sure he wrote one of my letters of recommendation for law school too. That's so important. And as the daughter of a Miami faculty member, my mom is in the business school. She has all of these students that come to her and are thinking they might want to go to law school, but don't know any lawyers. Well, I was not a business major. I took one business class, but I talked to a lot of Miami business students because my mom, who's a faculty member, refers them to me to chat to. So I think even if just go and introduce yourselves if you're a first year student or second year student, say, I know I'm sitting in your class every week. I just wanted to come and say hi. And, this is sort of what I'm thinking. I'm excited to take your class for whatever reason. It can be that simple, but making those connections, both for networking purposes, for advising purposes, for mentoring purposes, is just completely invaluable.
I think I have a unique experience of Miami because I'm third generation. Both my parents met there, they're mergers. My dad played basketball there, so I saw growing up the network, how large the Miami network was and how large it exists. And just like Rachel said, really tapping into that early on, I think is absolutely invaluable. I think what makes Miami so special is the fact that that kind of like that proverbial like Miami hello like really does extend across so many groups of people. And really tapping into the alumni network that exists and connecting with students who once came, participating in events like this. I think Miami does a great job of bringing back students to connect, past students to connect with current students, to really provide like our perspectives on our experiences and share some inside tips and insiders that we got from people that came before us, and some of those things that you just like learn in trial and error. Really tapping into the Career Service Center. I think, that was really helpful for me as I was like navigating kind of what I wanted to do. Luckily, and it's kind of twofold, I stayed at the same company for 4 years during my internships throughout the summers. And when it came down to me having to decide what I wanted to do, if I wanted to stay and go somewhere else, or if I wanted to try my hand in a different industry, it was really, really helpful to have a network, the career services, to help network and really be a pillar for me and an advocate for me and sponsor me. Professors, I think if you have a really great connection with a professor, really like connect and stay connected with them, even if you don't have them for classes, like, in future semesters. I think Miami faculty, they're the best in the sense that they really want to make sure that those connections are evident even outside of the classroom after you're done being one of their students. They really want to make sure that they're gonna try their best to set you up for success as much as possible, and very, very savvy and industrious in connecting you with other people who may be able to provide you with an alternative either path or some additional perspective. Another thing I wish I would have done a little bit more was kind of take advantage of a course that is not necessarily tied to an interest, or a career path of yours, but is more so like, tied to an interest of yours early on. Like if you're fascinated by something, like say for instance, you're, a math major, but you're really fascinated with just like the anthropology of people, take an intro to anthropology, or social. If you're in the School of Education and you're just fascinated by social justice, take a sociology class that's centered around that, just to kind of can make like other connections, not only with professors and students, but allows you to kind of create a career path, or think of an alternative career path as you go through your time at Miami.
Awesome. So I think for me, I hinted a little bit earlier at being really intentional about your time. So anything that you get involved in, or however you spend your time, just really think through the why behind it. And this is something I still have to tell myself of how can I be intentional with the time that I have, with the friends that I make, with the studies that I'm in, with the clubs that I'm involved in, because especially when you're in college, your time is extremely precious there. College is a very unique situation where you're not going to get that in the real world. At the end of the day, you're not going to get that in the real world. So with that being said, I know this is, trivial and simple, but like have fun. I mean, soak in your time at Miami and explore. I know for me, when I was at Miami, one of the things I wish I would have done more is like go to Houston Woods and maybe go take a drive out to Cincinnati or Dayton and, just enjoy what's out there, because I know that there are times where Miami can, like I said before, be a little bit of a bubble and be more of a college town, but, just taking advantage of the things that are around there and that the people that you're with, because especially as freshmen and sophomores, you're not going to be able to have all of your best friends in a dorm right across the hall. Like that's just something that won't be as common when you're off campus, and it won't be as common when you're in the real world. And especially with people at the same phase and stage of your life, that's really, really unique in that too. So like I said, I mean, just have fun of course, like do well in school and, stay connected and make sure that you're professional and get a job and things like that. But I think what can happen is that sometimes we get so busy in that department that we take away from the whole social and fun and unique situation that a college atmosphere and environment provides to you. So just really soak up every moment that you can, be a little bit creative in terms of where you spend your time, whether that's, on the streets of Uptown or, maybe outside of Uptown a little bit. But yeah, I think that's for me, my biggest piece of advice.
Great. Wow, that was wonderful. Thank you all so much. I have more questions and I have no more time, but I think you all have provided a really good overview. I love the academic discussion. I love the career discussion. And then those pieces that we say are just as important, those outside of class things that really help you explore what it is that you want to do in the future. So I really want to thank all of you. Students, thank you for coming. I know you didn't have any questions, but I'm really hoping you left with at least as much information as I have, and my career path is set. So I learned a lot here too. I hope that you understand too that our alumni are very giving, and they're giving of their time in these types of events, but they also give of their time if you reach out to them. And one of our programs, the Miami Alumni Connect, is full of alumni who have signed up to do just this, provide career advice to students. And so I will ask the instructors to make sure that they share that link with students on how to do that. But you can see these are people willing to kind of share their experience to help you make the most of yours. And that's a gift. And so we really want to thank it. I see people putting their information, their email, their LinkedIn in the chat. I appreciate that. So these panelists are more than willing to talk more if you have specific questions about something they said or have experienced, or get to know a little bit more about what they do. So please do that as well. But I will let everybody go to enjoy the rest of your evening. I want to thank Rachel, Kristin, Anna. Thank you so much for doing this. I really do appreciate it. And I know our students benefit from that. So hope to see you maybe sometime in Oxford, a little bagel and deli at some point. But I know with Zoom, at least we get to see some of you who are far and away. So that's fun too. So again, thanks so much, students. Thanks again.
Thanks.
Thank
Have a
you,
good one.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.